right, hey guys, Sam back with you here on Monday, February 19th. Last coin for the day, also by request from some members. And this is a simple token. Now, this is an interesting project. It has not been trading for very long. So if we go over here and look at it here over on CoinGecko, you can see it's only been around for 3 months. But wow, it's just getting some traction pretty quickly. Now, market cap still relatively low at 91 million. But look at the scoring here. In 3 months, we're already over 50 here. And I like to see this. And the interest here amongst the development community very strong, particularly for a coin that is this new to the market. We go over and look at where it's trading. Well, no surprise, it's trading primarily on Binance, and you can see here the bulk of it is to Bitcoin, but we also have a good, almost 20% of it is trading to Ethereum. So as it was requested by the member, I'm going to take a look here at OST to Bitcoin. This is on Binance. I've got a 1-hour chart here, which we can look at. Now, there's a few things here to learn. We could, you could approach it and say, well, none of this matters. So none of this matters. Right? Does any of it really matter to us over here? Well, you certainly have to make the case that you would want to make, let me phrase it that way. You would want to make the case that you had a completed 5-wave structure here. So even if I just quickly just eyeball it and say, well, it certainly looks like that that would look to me like we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This here would be the tell here. So if I just check that really quickly, if I just look at that in terms of its retracement potential and the setup for what it does to that third. So if I look here to the 1. Oh, right to the 50. Vegas wave catches it, and you can see here. So there's the negative 100, which we know is going to be very close to the 1618. Since it didn't get to the, it would be slightly off here. So we can look at that. I can tell just looking at it that we have that 3 is longer than 1. 5 is the extension. So if I measure it out this way, if I take the length of 1 projected from that is my 2. Well, you can see here's the 1618. So, you could make a case here that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that this completed it. Either way, whether you count this as the 1, 2, there's a 3, 4, 5 in here. Either way that you count it, I think this holds, and the tell being here, this 4 not overlapping the 1. Again, that's not random. So that would offer this count here as the likely candidate here, since we got just shy of the 1618 extension in the 5th. It's not unheard of. And again, what matters here is, do we have a clean technical 5-wave count, whether or not this is the 3 or this is the 3. Either way, what I've got is a completed 5-wave. So if I look at that now and put it into the context of that completion, I'm now trading off of this, looking for, is this my 2? Do we have a 2 over here? 3, 4, and 5 are going up much higher. Let's change that, put it in a larger degree. Does that make sense? Well, we can go to intermediate here. If this is my 1, well, I'm trying to get a handle on whether or not I've got a completed 2 here. So of course, given that it's a 2, first thing I'm going to do is just pull from swing high to, if I can get this hot, swing low to swing high. Where am I? Well, I've come to and through. So this is a deep correction. All right, regardless of what we've got here, if we work on the assumption that we've got a 5-wave completed structure there, we're trying to put in the 2 and we're going deep. Now we know a 2 can go 786, can go deeper than this. So do we have this? Well, let's try and get a handle on what we've got coming down. Well, it would certainly, so your eye would immediately go here as an A wave. I get a 3-wave B here. Now I'm trying to get my C. So if I bring this down, since we're not sure about that, let's put this in a different color and we'll go up a degree. We can go to let's go to minuet. Okay, does that make sense? Well, I can see the 3-wave into the B. I would expect that to be somewhat technical. So if I work from this high to this low, okay, well, it's right to the 50, just perfect. So I've got a B wave here, a candidate here for an A wave into a 3-wave B. Well, now it looks like I've got a 1, 2, 3. We'll have to go in and dig into that a little bit. But this is not unlike some of the other coins that we're seeing. And much of what we're seeing in the alt space is this long extended drift lower trying to establish whether or not we're going to recycle again and get up and start into a new 5-wave sequence. So if I look at this and think about where the potential is of where this could be going, well, we've got huge upside here, but we've got to get a 5-wave sequence started. We're drifting lower. So what can you do to try and time that? Well, best you can do is try and get into this count here for that C wave here. Clearly we've got the algo target sitting right here. Does this play? Well, let's just label it and see if we can make sense of it. If I'm working from this as from my B, well, pretty easy to spot this. That looks like a completed. Whether that's A, B, C, we'll have to look at it here. This would certainly be a reasonable count. So if I take this down to a lower degree here and try and get a handle on what we might have here, let's go to we'll go to blue there. Okay, does that look like we might have a 5-wave C wave going in here? It's certainly a long correction, but it would appear that it plays. So if I just look as I would with any 5-wave count, if I look at the relationship of the third relative to where does the 4 go, well, we don't overlap the 1 here, so I've got an impulsive structure. I've got my, well, if I can get this hot, here's my 1, here's my 4, right? Whether it's that or that, we'll play it with that because the algos will be working off that. Here, so I've got a big fat target down here. In fact, I get a zone. From this cell here, they're looking for this down here. Do you see how it lines up? So see how this lines up on the edge here? So you can see which is which. And then the larger one, here's the negative 23 from this B wave. So I get this fat pocket down here that it might be worth waiting for. Whether we get there or not, well, remains to be seen. But that would set up rather nicely for this 5th to come down here. Now I might also do a little Elliott wave projecting, looking for the relationship between the length of the 1 wave projected from the 4th. Does that help me at all if I bring this over here from my 4th? Well, that's kind of interesting. So the 100% is right here in red. If you can, let's see if you can see that. So if I got to pull it here. So if I wiggle that, do you see that red line? So if I put it right on the 4, you can see this. Well, now I've got a little confluence down here. So I've got a confluence zone where I've got my longer term algo target, the negative 23.6 here from the B wave, lined up with 100% of the length of my 1 wave projected from my 4th wave. So I get a little hot box here that I want to pay attention to. So that looks interesting to me. Then we might, just put this, get this into context here of where we could be going. So if I take that off and I look 3, 4, 5, I might put a channel on this. So let's strip this a little bit bare since we have the hot box marked. So I would maybe look for a channel relationship here. Do I get anything there? Well, it looks like we've broken already. So, maybe I've got a parallel runner here where I'm doing something like this that I would bring down here. Got a little channel here that runs parallel to the channel based off of the 2, 3, and the 4. Looking down here, maybe I get mid channel. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Any help from the oscillators? You might get a little help here. So we have some divergence here. Right, I have to probably open this up, but I have some divergence to give, because here's my 3, here's my potential 5th setting up. So I don't have it. It's not ideal, but this is a spot I would want to know about. So I would alarm it. I'd want to know if we're going to come down and test this low, so I might alarm that low. If this has got one more leg down here, that would be a spot to be looking for. So, talk about a lot of upside. Yeah, we'd have a potential entry right there. So that's one to be watching for. I like that there. We'll be looking for a 5-wave sequence to start us off. From this as our 2 low, can we get a 5-wave? Then, you want to be conservative, you wait for the 2. Right, and that's the entry, trying to get the 3 of what may be the 1 wave, because where this can be going, if this is going to really roll and that's going to serve as a 1, then our 3 is going to be way, way, way up here. So lots of opportunity there. It's just a matter of trying to fine tune that entry, get something that sets up. You don't have to load up here. That can be just a place you can start buying and averaging down here. It's a target. It's a confluence zone where we get this overlap here of what we're seeing on the way down relative to the Elliott count. So a place to be watching for. Okay, guys, I'll wrap it there.